Hello everyone. Welcome to Video
Hello.
Geeks where we discuss about some interesting topics. So today's topic is going to be presented by Henil. So let's ask him what is today's topic. Go on.
So yeah, thank you, Dev, for introducing me. So as you know that information is very precious. So if we talk about anything while passing data, if I talk about human to human interaction, if I talk about third person with you, then it should remain between two of us. Not it cannot be like breached by some third party and they can have our conversation. So you might be getting idea that what is the today's topic. So our today's topic is related to information and security. So basically we'll be looking at the tools which is NMAP or you can say ZenMap GUI. So both tools are basically uh, very you can say introductory or beginner level tool if we talk about ethical hacking. So NMAP is a tool for a port scanning, right? You can scan a ports number of ports like HTTP works on port number 80 generally, or you can say SSH works on port number 22. So that's the basic knowledge. So prerequisite for this topic is that you need to aware about the ports and what are the services that runs on our system, what is TCP UDP, right? And then you are good to go with this topic. So basically we'll be looking at the nmap introduction and zenmap GUI. So we'll look at some commands that are useful for scanning a computer machine, right? Any computer machine we can scan by our nmap commands, which can help us to scan uh, any remote machine, and we can have checks for vulnerabilities that what are the open ports, how such attacks can be possible on the machine, and we can also do some attacks by running some scripts, right? So let's just first look at the document that I have prepared. So this is basically, let me know if it is visible on the screen or not. Let me just present my
Not yet.
screen. Mm, if you
Wait,
can give
do
me,
I need to make you a presentation?
yeah,
Wait.
yeah, is it visible now?
Yes, it
This
is visible.
document, yeah. So I think you can able to see this document. I have prepared for my learning purpose. Yeah, so basically nmap, you can see the icon over here. Nmap is the main this is a tool for which I have said that it is useful for scanning the remote machine. It will basically scan for the ports, for the services that are running on that remote machine, right? And how we can install that I have also mentioned in this document, but I am going to tell you verbally that how we can install, right? And for verification of installation, that how that whether the installation is successful or not, that also I have mentioned. I will be I think posted I will be I think
Mm-hmm.
posting this as an article on some medium platform or any other platform, and this is basically it. What is basic commands and output and how we can interpret the output. So the simplest command of nmap basically will not bother about the installation and stuff like that. We'll not waste much time on that. We'll start off with the just basic commands. I'll basically assume that we all have nmap installed in it, and if you don't know that how you can install nmap, then it's basically simple. You can just google it out on nmap, how to install nmap, then you can good to go with this video, right? So we'll assume that we all have nmap installed and we have successfully verified that it is completely running. So first of all, I'll open up the command and let me know if you see the command prompt.
Yes, it is visible.
So the simplest command of nmap is it is to write nmap and the destination machine which you can which you want to scan. So here it can be any IP, it can be any URL, like you used to write www.google.com, or there is one URL, scanme.nmap.org, which is provided by the nmaps organization, which have made this nmap or nmap applications, right? So they provide this URL for free to on which we can fire all the commands. Like literally we can fire DOS attacks, we can have aggressive scan, we can have full scan of this URL. It is open source, it is allowed. If I just go over here and search it out, scanme.nmap.org, then you can see that they says hello and welcome to this URL, service provided by the nmap security scanner project, right? We have set up this machine to help folks learn nmap and also to test and make sure that their nmap installation or internet connection is working properly. So they say that you are authorized to scan this machine with nmap or other port scanners. Try not to hammer on the server too hard. Basically they says because they have, as they have opened this URL for any
Yes.
user to perform a scan, right? So hundreds and millions of users can request or can harm the system. So that's why they are telling that do not try to hammer on the server too hard. A few scans in a day is fine, but don't scan hundreds of time a day, or do not try to brute force SSS password cracking tools. Basically, that's also another type of attack. This machine is some running on some you can say OS, right? And all OS has have SSH, or you can say all machines have SSH terminal. So they can, so there is also brute force password cracking attack is also possible by this nmap itself, right? So you can see how much amount of security that they have provided, and they have opened this URL for any person to perform a scan. So that's what we are going to do. So the basic commands is like nmap and the destination machine, which performs the scanning of first 100 ports on the destination machine. Like if we provide any IP, then it searches the first 1000 ports on this destination machine. So let's perform the scan. If I just enter this command, it will ask me for admin rights.
So instead of this URL, you can also write IP address of that, right?
Yeah, that I have told you, right? That we can also do. Suppose let me perform scan on my machine itself. So my IP for Ethernet, nahi, not for Ethernet, for wireless, it is 192.168.0.103, right? So let me
Yes.
perform scan on. So I am performing scan on my machine itself, right? So while this scan is performing, let us interpret
Mm.
the output of the first previous scan that we have performed, right? So the basic command is goes like nmap and the destination machine. As I have told you, it performs the scan on first 1000 ports of the destination machine, right? So you can see the first several lines will be the latency, the IP address, and some data that it needs to calculate for or is. So the first line, for you can see the starting time of the scan. The scan can take a very long time. So for the record purpose, they show that what is the starting time of a scan, and at the end of that, they also ping out the end time of, or you can say the total time of the scan it took to perform, right? So because there is a reason that some scan also take very long time. So nmap reports, you can see the URL of that, the IP address of that URL on the second line, as you can see, right? And then there is a latency. Latency means that how much there is a response time. If I fire some packet request, then how much time it takes to get me the response. And this not shown, which means out of first 1000 ports, how many are closed? As I have said you, this this basic command will perform scan on first 1000 ports. So out of first 1000 ports, only 4 ports are open, or you can say running services, but 996 ports are closed, or you can see TCP ports reset. and and the remaining 4 ports which are open, that you can see in the list given over here. So first is 22 port, which is SSH, 80 port, which is HTTP, and there is nping echo, and there is elite. So these are the ports that has been detected and running open services by the nmap scan. And similar to that, let us look at the scan that is just we have performed on my machine itself. So you can compare the latency, this latency and this latency. Very much difference over here. You can see, because it is performing a scan on my machine, and that was some your machine configured remotely somewhere else in the world, right? And on my machine, 6 ports are open out of first 1000 ports, and you can see that 994 ports are closed. And as I have provided my IP, they have also given the IP address again, and
Yes.
you can see the time it took was 7.91 seconds to scan first 1000 ports, and here it takes 15.61 seconds, because the ports are remain same, first 1000 ports, but it is remote machine, and this is my machine itself, so it is taking less time. So that was the basic command, a very basic command from which you can understand the command that we are firing and the interpretation of the output that we are getting by firing the command, right? So that was basically it. By I mean by that I have explained over here. And yeah, as you can see the state of these ports over here, given over here, the open port. So there are several states also possible rather than this open. The states you can see over here, the closed state, which means the target port is active but not listening, which means the port may be active but service is off, which means port number 80 is active, but the service which generally runs on port number 80 is HTTP, but it is not listening to that HTTP. It is currently busy because of some internal server which can be initialized by XAMPP, WAMP, or some another uh, you can say software. Then there is a state filtered, which means it is packet filtering. Like there is firewall before reaching to the destination, in between somewhere else. So a firewall or packet filtering device is preventing the port status being written, which means the packets that we are sending is being filtered by some intermediate firewall, and we
Can
cannot
you
get the actual.
zoom in a bit?
Yeah.
Yes, now it's fine.
Okay. So it's a basically it's there may be some firewall that is preventing to return the port status. So we cannot get the actual port status, but rather than the open state over here, it will say that it is filtered, which means we cannot get the actual status because of the firewall. This is unfiltered, which means that the target port is reachable, but nmap cannot determine if it is open or closed. There may be some error, or there may be some data loss, so that's why they thought that rather than filtered, it is unfiltered, which means there is not a firewall. The port may be open or may be closed. That's why. This is another state, open filtered, which means nmap cannot determine if the target port is open or filtered. And similarly closed or filtered, which means it cannot determine whether the port is closed or filtered. So that are the states that you can see in future scan over here in this state column, right? So as you can see, the first command that we have fired, it performs scan on first 1000 ports. So in information security, it is not a good practice, because if we want to scan some ports, right, if we want to scan the port number 80 only, then we cannot waste the time to scan rest of the 99 ports, right? So in between that time, if any hacker is also
Hmm.
scanning the ports, right, so they can do a fast queries by applying some options on the nmap command itself, and they can exploit the system. So in order to prevent that, the first come will be like, you can say, you can give option to scan the single ports, you can give options to scan multiple ports, you can give range, like, so that we are going to explore. So let's explore some that commands. So these are the useful options for that. If you want to scan a specific port or port range, then the command is like this. This is basically synopsis of that command, that how you can scan the ports, and the for example commands are like this. If you want to perform scan on this IP address on port 80 only, so you can give a command like option like -p and the port number. And similarly, if you want to scan port number 10 to 80 on that same machine, then you can also give -p command, -p option, and then the range. See how easy it became. Let's say we are going to scan only port number 80, and we will perform scan on this URL scanme.nmap.org. So let's fire the command and see how much time it will take. See, it take only 8.35 seconds. Previously, when we were scanning 1000 ports, it was taking 15.61 seconds. So see how much time we can able to reduce. So that's how we can scan single ports. It is very easy. If you want to scan a range of ports, then you can give command like nmap -p and the range. The range we can specify by start port hyphen and the end port and the destination. Then it will scan for those ports only, those range of ports only. See, it is giving us the two ports, and it has
Yes.
taken 9.91 seconds. So that's how you can filter on the ports by performing, while you perform scan, by giving the -p option. So all nmap commands, if you see, there is only one command nmap, and there is always several options that you can give to perform very efficient scans. The nmap is also always be used for scanning. There is no other command like something else. There is always a command nmap, then there is a list of options, and there is a destination. So that synopsis you can match over here. As you can see, the basic synopsis of all nmap commands is shown below, which is nmap, then there is a scan type, then there is a option, and there is a target specification. So that's a basic synopsis of all nmap commands. So we have seen that how we can perform filter on ports, right, while scanning destination machine, remote machine. So we can also do aggressive scans that will look later. But first of all, let us see how we can scan the range of addresses. So in order to perform scan, suppose that we are in one network and we want to perform scan on all the machines that uh, comes under that
Hmm.
network, right? Suppose I am in, let me let me observe what network ID I am residing in. So as you can see, my subnet mask is 255, 255, 255, and my IP address is this. So currently I am in 192.168.0.0 subnet, or you can say 0.0 network ID. My network ID is basically this. So suppose I want to perform scan on all machines that can fall under my network. So what I will do, I will give commands like nmap and then 192.168.0 dot, and the machine which can reside in my network will be like 192.168.0.0, sorry, not 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to 250, 254, right? So what can I do? I can perform I can perform scan on each and every machine by giving single commands like nmap 192.168.0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Instead of, I can give like from 1 you need to scan to 54, right? That I can give, or I can also
Yes.
give 192.168.0.255, or you can say 254, right? Or instead of that, I can also do like star, right? There are several ways we can scan range of IPs. Let's suppose on all the my machines that are currently residing in my network, I want to scan port number 80. So let's see what are the statistics, or what will be the output of this scan that we are performing on each and every machine. That there is no single destination, there is all possible destination that can reside in my network. So let's see what will be the output will be different from the scan that we will performing on a single.
Hmm.
So you can see the output, right? So you can see, first it has given me this port and services, TP link topologies. Then it has given me this, and you can see the IP address. First it was 192.168.0.1, which is my default gateway, or you can say the access point of my network. Then there is a 192.168.0.103, which is my computer itself. If you see my IP over here, and just that only. So two devices were there, or you can say is the look currently in my network. So they have said 256 IP addresses, which means I have explained you that there can be 256 devices can reside in my network, except that dot zero, which is for broadcast, or not broadcast, the subnet, and dot 255, which is for broadcast. So out of them, two hosts were up, and the scan took 19.64 seconds. So you can map that it is giving me all the information that I want. But the port, which is only it is giving 480, because we have filtered on ports, but we have given the range of IP addresses. So it will perform on each and every IP addresses that can be currently on, or you can say currently up in my system. And it will also give you that how many machines are up and the scan status. If we don't give the port filter, then it will filter, or you can say it will scan for first 1000 ports on all the machine, and it can take very long time. So you can match, first it has taken around 20
So
seconds.
it will show the statistics for only the machines that are up, right?
Yeah, basically it will populate, or you can say it will send packets for all the machines, but there cannot be, you can say 192.168.0.105 is not there it will send the packet, but the
Yes.
machine
Yeah.
is not there.
Mhm.
So packet will lost simply from access point. It will not further forwarded. So the machine which are up, they will allow the scan, or you can say they will receive the packet, and they will send packets back again to my machine, and that's how the nmap works. So if there is no machine, then nmap will not receive back the packets that they have sent, or you can say that it has sent on the network basically. So you can see it has been more than 20 seconds, and the scan is
Yes.
going on.
So it is
So
throwing the packets at all the IP addresses, all the 256 IP addresses, and then
yeah,
if it is up, so it will go
yeah,
one more deep step and scan the ports of that
yeah,
PC.
yeah, the same. First, it will prepare packet for, let's say, 192.168.0.0, because we have given star. So it will scan to 56. It will not uh, differentiate, cannot differentiate that this is a network ID or this is a broadcast ID. It will
Yes.
send to 0 also, and then it will send point 1. If point 1 will not reply, then it will don't send the packets again to that IP address. Then it will send for dot 2, then it will send for dot 3, dot 4, and so on. And suppose my machine is 103, right? Dot 103, 192.168.0.103. They have sent packets to access point, and access point will send packets back again to me, right? So let's say my machine received the packet, they allowed something scan statistics, and they gave back the packets to the machine from which it was originated. So that machine will receive the packet, and if there is much information to be received, or there is some information remaining to be scanned, so they will prepare some another packets and send to that machine. So that's how this whole nmap works. So till that scan is happening, I have basically taken reference for commands for from this URL. It is very useful URL. You can also have access to that. We will
Hmm.
give you this in the description. So they have shown the all the commands that can be possible through this nmap. Scan a range of IP addresses, scan a network for active computers that I am showing you right now, then scan a list of hosts from input file. So there is one file and there is a list of hosts. Suppose I have prepared text file, and in which write I have wrote a list of IP addresses that I want to perform scan on machine. So we can read a file, and from that file we can have scan. Right, that is also possible. Exclude IP host network, which means from a range of IP addresses, if we want to exclude some IP address, then also it can be possible. Suppose I have talked about right now that it will not differentiate the network ID and the broadcast ID, right? So from the command that we have fired over here, if we want to exclude that two IP addresses, then we can exclude from this command. Like you can see the example also is
Yeah.
given over
Hmm.
here. Then scan for specific port that I have shown you, minus P option, right? Scan for TCP ports, which means there are several services, TCP, UDP, etc. So if we want to perform scan on only TCP ports, which means the ports that runs only the TCP services like HTTP or HTTPS or something else. So we can also perform the scan on all TCP ports by giving the, you can say, option minus ST, which means scan on TCP ports. That's simply. And if you want to perform scan on UDP ports, that's also possible, minus SU. option.
Yes.
So you can explore more commands, but I will only give you the basic commands. So you can see it is taking much longer time than 20 seconds it has taken before.
Yes.
So till then we can explore that what is aggressive scans. So basically the aggressive scan will give you much more information of the remote destination, or you can say the IP address is the destination that we have provided. So in addition to the output of the regular command that we have seen till now, that we will fire, then it will populate the list of open ports and which are the ports that is not up, that also they can give information, right? So in addition to that information, they will give information about the OS which is currently running at the machine, the services versions, which means which version of services is running on that port, and the other important information. You can see I have performed scan on the scanme.nmap.org, and there is a huge output. If you can see that, also I will show you. If the scan is not performed, then we can open another command prompt, and then for the aggressive scan, the command is like nmap and -a. Simply, if suppose you forgot the options, so you can fire nmap --help command, and basically it will populate the all the available commands that you can have access to it, right? So il, ir, exclude, then su, udp scan, then st, tcp scan, then os detection -o. Then these are some examples command. So we'll perform aggressive scan, scanme.nmap.org. So let's perform aggressive scan and let's see what the output is, what will be the output. Until then, you can see this scan is taking much longer time.
Yes.
We have discussed a lot, but the scan is still going on. Yeah. So let's wait for the this aggressive command. I think it also will take much longer time
Hmm.
as it's an aggressive scan. Basically, why we need this aggressive scan, right? So that also I will tell you till this scan is happening. So you see there are several versions of some services. So there might be possible that there is some vulnerability in the some version of service. Let's say version 1 of the service. So in order to improve against that vulnerability, what they will do? They will improve the version, right? So there are several versions of the same services. So in order to have clear idea that which script I need to fire, because there are several scripts to attack on the port, right? Suppose we want to have a DOS attack on port number 80, which is running HTTP service. So in order to have DOS attacks, we need to give there are several scripts basically, and some script works on some versions, some script works on different versions. So in order to identify the correct script, what hackers do, they perform aggressive scan on port number, on specific port number, and they from that aggressive scan they come to know that the version of that service is this and the OS of the service is OS that the machine is on the machine on which the machine is running is this. So accordingly, they find the best suitable script that can have easily breach the system, right? So that for that purpose they perform the aggressive scan, and we can also do that. So basically, the aggressive scan helps the hacker to have the clear idea that which script they can perform or they can fire to have to you can say attack the system. So that also we will see that how we can do those attack, but not in this video. This scan is still going on.
Can you press any key right now on the command? Any key like A, B, C, D.
No, no.
You can see
Okay,
this
okay.
is a bug. So I know this is a bug. It doesn't display anything until you press anything like that. Yes. So it has
Oh,
already
oh,
been done in 600 seconds. You can see.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think maybe it's a bug. As you told me, I have pressed the key and it displays the output. So let's just look at the output of the aggressive scan. So you can see as regularly it has given us the IP and the latency, and out of 1000 ports 996 are closed, that also they have given us. And now if you compare the previous output that they have given you, just the port status and services, not much details, right? But right now they have given you SSH host keys. That's a very different concept. I cannot explain you right now because I am
Mhm.
also not much aware about that host keys, SSH host keys. And there is one column extra added: port status, service, and the version. So you can see the machine is running on Ubuntu 2.13 and the protocol is 2.0. And then there is a TCP service and the version is Apache HTTP D 2.4.7. You can see how much details it is providing us. Very, very crucial details it is providing us. HTTP fave icon and project. Go ahead, scan me. That is, you can see title, server, and other details on which is run service running on port number 18. Then you can see it is Linux 5.x kernel. Then you can see network distance, which means how many routers that comes from my device, my access point, to uh, in order to reach the scan map, scanme.nmap.org. There is 8 hopes, which means there is 8 intermediary routers that that is coming in between me and scanme.nmap.org. Then there is a service info, and there is a trace route using port number 21. One host up, and there is scan performed on 198.45 seconds. So that's basically the aggressive output of aggressive scan. So it gives us the much more details of the system itself. So let us
Mhm.
close that and let us see the output of previous scan that we have performed. So we have performed previously the scan on the range of IP addresses just on single port. And in this we have performed scan on all the range of all the 256 IP addresses, but on first 1000 ports for all the machines. So the first machine is my access point. Second machine is 100. The third machine is now added 101 because my two friends just came into my room and they have accessed they have connected to access point. So there is two devices added to the before previous output, and this is my machine. You can see 192.168.103, and all the ports, services, and status for
Yes,
each and
good one.
individual machine, right? So that's basically for NMAP basic introduction. If you if you can see this table, then also you can have idea for the commands that we have seen. Single, if you want to perform scan on single target, scan multiple targets, scan a range of hosts, scan an entire subnet, scan a random host, excluding target, performing an aggressive scan, and scan an IPv6 target. So that are some commands overview, or you can say summary of the commands that we have seen.